Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Valerie, and I will call this first installment of a video Diary of a Desperate Woman, or My Shattered American Dream. The reason why I'm giving it this title: desperate to get on with my life, desperate to restore my life, desperate to use all the things that I've learned and pass them on and share them with others. That's where desperate comes in. And in My Shattered American Dream, well, I'm originally from Germany, and when I first came to this country in 1971, my English was very poor, and I taught myself English, how to read and write and speak it, by watching a lot of PBS at the time. They had the most intelligent programming that I could find. And so My Shattered American Dream. So here I was, eventually became a single parent with 3 children, decided to go to college. Was a very enthusiastic student, enjoyed going to college, did 3 degrees incrementally, because I wanted to make sure that I had one under my belt. Being a single parent sometimes can make life rather unpredictable. So I got an AA degree, then I went to university, got a bachelor's degree in organizational communication. That was my chosen field, was communication. And then I eventually went to graduate school to obtain my master's degree in communication studies. Some other time I'll give more details about what my studies entailed. I obtained that master's degree on December 13, 2003. So it hasn't been that long. But I have to say, since then, given, my age, I'm 64. I will be 65 in October. And only found out later, given that on official transcripts, the birth date is right on top. So no matter what is being said about, there is no discrimination against age, I'm sure there is, because you see 1949, well, what kind of 64-year-old or 60-year-old or at the time, 55-year-old is this? You can't tell that from a date. You need to have an interview first. So from 2003 until 2007, I had one interview in California, putting in applications on a weekly basis, except one interview that I was granted, and then, of course, I was the runner-up. So then things were already were already deteriorating, because I was under the impression, from given what everyone else had told me, that oh yeah, you get a graduate degree, you'll be so hireable, and they're just gonna fight for you because you dedicated yourself and showed all this ability to learn and be determined. But that was not the case. Okay, so I moved to North Carolina, where a family member lived. First I volunteered, because I do specialize, I used to teach personal development, and that's my forte, actually. And so I did volunteer at the youth shelter, and then eventually found a job as a case manager, qualified professional in a mental health agency. And so my clients consisted of individuals, children to adults, ranging from schizophrenia to anxiety to bipolar, and you name it. And I wrote treatment plans, and I was very successful with my clients, and it was a pretty good job. And then also part-time, I decided to I applied at a local community college and taught public speaking, interpersonal communication, and workplace communication. It was very satisfying, and for North Carolina, I was making pretty good money. not what I wanted, not what I had anticipated, but I was making money. So eventually there were changes made to Medicare, which affected all these agencies, which were then, not able to pay their qualified professionals an appropriate salary or even keep themselves above water due to the cut in funding that was available to them. And so the company closed in, I believe, March it was, 2010. So then I received unemployment, kept looking for jobs. Eventually I finished out my year, my classes that I had committed to at the community college. And then in May 2011, after unemployment ran out and things like that, because there were mistakes made and things like that. So then that wasn't enough to pay the rent for where I lived, which was $950 a month. And so I exhausted everything that I had, and then in July 2011 I moved back to California and was asked by a family member to move with them because they wanted to go to school, and in exchange I then homeschooled the child that just started first grade very successfully through K12.com, and for about a year and a half, and then abruptly was asked on December 16th to move. So that's when the whole ordeal really started. I mean, I was already homeless per se, but I did have a place to go to and a place to lay my head. And so then that family member asked another family member to come and pick me up. And so I've been living with another family member, but how it is when you impose upon younger people, and the place has 2 bedrooms and there's a child involved that's 3 years old. And so there had been constant pressure on me ever since December, which, because of how abrupt the changes came about, it had started affecting me emotionally. So I started actually suspecting, some changes in my emotional and even spiritual well-being. I started developing severe stress symptoms, anxiety that just comes on, depression. Became aware of that because I'm like, what is wrong with me? Why do I not take care of myself like I used to? So these were all byproducts, and even PTSD. And the PTSD symptoms really started surfacing because, we all have, no one is perfect. Our parents are not perfect. They're products of their own upbringing, but I did have a very traumatic childhood with incredible things that had happened to me from my mom. So hence the PTSD. A lot of things that are just now coming to the surface that I realized had never been worked through emotionally or otherwise are really impacting me given the circumstances. It's very easy to question your own self-worth or lose your own focus, develop low self-esteem and all these various symptoms that come up. And so it's just, I'm saying maybe my mom was right when she told me all these things about myself, all these negative things, because it seems to be fulfilling itself now. But I realized these have been slumbering inside, and who knows how it all fits together. So anyway, I decided that I want to do, I don't know if I will be doing the diary daily, or it might be a bit much, but whenever I can, I will just put it to video and see how I feel, because I have to say, at my age, I mean, not that I feel old, I'm very vital. I think I'm in pretty good shape, I'm flexible, and I'm mentally very agile, but I also noticed over these 7 months that I have been enduring these things, that when the anxiety sets in, I start forgetting things very quickly. I mean, it restores itself, but in the moment when the stress is really strong, then it really gets activated. And so the reason why I decided to make it, so I thought, okay, so I put myself on waiting lists. It's the only option that I have for senior housing, subsidized senior housing. So I'm still waiting to hear from them. And then the family member that I lived with was told a few days ago by the owner of the place where he lives that I need to move, and that the occupants need to be restored to 3 people how it was originally, even though they had been notified and had identification documentation on me that I've been living here. So but this has come on suddenly. So of course this caused this whole depression and everything to flare up very tremendously. And so I'm right dead smack in the middle again of another episode. I've exhausted everything. I have a monthly income of less than $400, consisting of a few dollars of Social Security, and then because I did work for the county in alternative education for a few years, I did earn a couple of $100s of teacher retirement, which is nice, but doesn't get me very far. My car, I love it. I think it's the cutest car ever, but it needs repairs right now. It needs a bolt on the exhaust manifold and a gasket and things like that, so I don't have transportation. So I don't have a job, I don't have transportation, I don't have a lot of money, and I really don't have friends because I did not go to school here in this country. And when I did go to university, I was also raising a family, so which means I was busy. I couldn't, because I was working, going to school, and raising a family. So I wasn't really able to cultivate friends per se because school was a priority, and so were my children. And I didn't really go out through all the years that I went to school because I took my education very seriously, and I was just looking forward to making this incredible amount of money where I never will have to be married again because I'm going to be self-sufficient. That has been my goal and my dream, and I just thought, yeah, here I am, master's degree, speak the language, very good with people, love to share knowledge. Just like working, just being around people, very organized. I'm very analytical. I'm very, very objective. I have to say, even as a teacher, I was a very objective individual. I did not let anything purposely. I mean, something may have slipped through without catching my attention, but I didn't purposely do that. So anyway, so here I am in this situation, and I just think because of these emotional ups and downs that I have been experiencing, I need to share that and pass that on because I know others feel the same way. And whoever views this, if you do have suggestions, if you have advice, anything you want to send my way, you can go ahead and do that, because like I said, this is only the beginning of many. Eventually I hope to get a better grip on things so that I can share some of my knowledge and some of where my passions are, which is communicating more effectively. And so I thank you for watching, and I hope to put out another video pretty soon. But I'm so glad that there is this forum to share, because it really helps me at this point. Thank you. Again, this is Valerie, the Desperate Woman, signing off and wishing you all the best. Until next time, so long.